Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. This is a really cool junk journal. It's on the larger size. It's 6.5 by 9.5, which is a really good size junk journal. And the base of this book is a 1938 University of Knowledge. And this one was on civilization. It's really beautiful. It had a perfectly plain chocolate brown cover. So I added all of these wonderful antique textures. This leather spine here came from a book from the 1700s, and I literally found the spine on the floor of a used bookstore, and the owner said, have no idea where that came from, just take it. And I just love spines, love them. So that's very cool. And then here is the interior spine of a book and another one on top of it. I just love the old cloth there. You can see how worn it is. I've got an Alice in Wonderland page back here and another interior spine down here. And then I made these flowers out of antique paper. And then I have my vintage beads here down the side with some matching ribbons and this really fun piece of antique doily around here. I love it. I love it. It's a little bit grungy and yet really beautiful. So let me take you on a little tour inside this book before I put it in my Etsy shop. And of course, again, everything in here is real. It's authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera, no commercial pieces or digital. So I just covered up that first inside plate here because it was sort of a masculine set of images. So I just covered it up with an Alice in Wonderland page. This is the original first plate of the book. It's really quite beautiful, marble canyon there. And then this is the original first page of the book. This was printed in the United States in 1938. And then this is a 1927 piece here. I love it. It's got this play with the ballet on it. And this is such a pretty it could be late 40s, early 50s baby card. And you can't see it too well, but that is a little satin pillow there. And that's really quite sweet. It's still puffy. And the little baby there. And then on the inside. So you could do anything with this. You could journal on it or just keep it for its beauty. It's really quite special. This is through the Fairy Halls piece on Hansel and Gretel from 1927 with antique paper on the back of that. Got a triple pocket here. And then this is a really cool piece from the early 1900s, 1907 to be exact. And that is an advertisement for binoculars. Is that neat? And that is on top of a antique book cover piece. And we've got a 1940s piece here on how to letter write. This is the back of a receipt pad, so that they would have logged all of their receipts there. I've never found one where they actually did that. And then this is a very, very old antique postcard album page. And the owner at some point has put tape there. I didn't try to remove it because it might tear it more, so I left it in. And this is a really cute little plate here from pre-1910. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Little goat carrying the little child there on the merry-go-round. And just the 1940s book page here. And here's another one of these wonderful pocketbooks that I've been making. It's got a full Paris, France Almanac page there from 1936. A 1950 page here for journaling on. This is a vintage book page about antiques, just really cool. Little history there. Here's a handwritten research page here, done with the old Inkwell ink. Then over here we've got a vintage Monopoly piece, a chance card, a flinch card from 1938. Isn't that fun? A little more texture there and flowers. I love that. And this is a little flash card, very, very old. And this one is on division. A little piece of vintage pillowcase down here. And then we have this wonderful 1950s doily making magazine page here with the grapes. I don't see grapes that often. I thought that was pretty cool. Flowers on the other side. This is a piece of vintage upholstery fabric. So I put a little hidden journaling spot under there with antique paper. And in here, I put this really sweet little baby picture. And this is probably from the 40s. I could tell by the scalloping around the edges there. That was a 1940s thing. Speaking of the 40s, that's a book page there from the 40s. More wonderful pieces. This piece of tape here I pulled off of a book and it was very old and I just liked the look of it, so I kept it. Fun little cluster there. 1850s engraved piece here. I love this page on monarch butterflies. I'm a big fan of butterflies. And that's also from the 40s. Vintage ledger sheet here. And then this is a vintage piece here. I love it. 1978. Almost vintage. It's 3 years away from being truly vintage, which is 50 years old. That's from 1978. But I'm going to allow it. This is from a very special vintage book, Birds' Nests and Their Eggs. And I love that piece so much. Some vintage cross stitch there. And then in here is a really cool vintage recipe page. Look at the great colors on here. And the recipes are actually awesome. Awesome, awesome. Apple pancakes, glazed apples, sort of thing. This is the cover of a book. You can see it's a little gold embossed down here. The book, this is basically how I received the book. Otherwise, I would have made that into a journal because I love leather fronts. And you can journal on the back of that. There's a wonderful plate from the 1890s. Little children with their bird. There's the flip side of that. And then this here is from the 50s, from like a teen music book. Isn't that cool? I believe that's 1959. And all the words to the songs. Really funny advertisements. Very era appropriate. 1950s page here. Love that little bird image up there from a children's book. Vintage bird book here, osprey, biggest wingspan of all the birds. And there's a hawk, red-tailed hawk. Here is a 1950s stamp collector's page and a vintage Trees of America book page. This is from the early 1900s. That's the Baltimore Oriole. Isn't that a beautiful plate? Another antique paper flower. And then this is really sweet. Look at these children around the piano there. Isn't that wonderful? All singing their songs. Same over here. And then this is just a great piece from the 1940s. Could even be the 30s. Little bunny. And then this great pocket here from the 40s. Great cluster here. And then this here is from 1913, Girls' Own Annual. Just wonderful artwork in these books, the Girls' Own Annual. Look at these. Each one could be framed. They're just so special. A little brittle, but they're still intact. And then this here is a little piece that came out of a school teacher's manual. So you take it apart and you staple it or glue it together and it becomes this little book. Isn't that cool? So I put that together for you. And then we have this ledger sheet, a vintage ledger sheet. It's quite old actually. It could even be antique, but the dates are gone from it. Put a little hidden journaling spot here and a little pocket here. And in this little wonderful pocket from 1907 is this wonderful little advertisement for a briefcase. Correspondence bag, they called it. And then over here, another spot there, and another plate from the early 1900s there, the Timberwolf. I love this page. On the Way. A runaway song here. Another little image there from an antique book. Journaling paper on the back. 1950s piece here. 1950s Black Beauty page there. Turned it into a pocket. And this is really cool. This is vintage. Chenille Fun. Look at the awesome colors and the font on there. The original price tag, $1.29. And look at this. Cub Scouts interview. These are all little Cub Scouts of America. And I believe they're made out of pipe cleaners. So really fun crafts. All of that's on top of a vintage song sheet. And this one is got the Fairyland title here. This is beautiful from 1920s, A Child's Garden of Verses. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. And I know a lot of people use replicas from this, but this is the real deal. Beautiful little poem here. Look how wonderful. Look at that. And this is one of these wonderful souvenir napkins from the 70s from Pennsylvania. And I love this old Mr. Fiddlesticks, that pocket there. And then I made this card. So this is commercial here, the cardstock, but everything on it is antique. So just telling the truth there. So those pieces, and the envelope as well. So you can reuse that any way you like. And this is from the 40s. And just another handwritten research card here that you can journal on the back of. You can journal on this vintage paper here. And then that's the last page. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. Hyperstamper.etsy.com with a capital H. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.